Alright guys and girls, welcome back to my channel. So I wanted to do another video, a couple of videos. I'm really trying to dedicate some of my videos on my channel to do with alcoholism, with the alcohol and beers and all that kind of stuff. Now, they say, oh, there's health effects of 2 beers per day, or apparently a daily beer to be the key to a long, healthy life. Now, that is where people get this wrong. People end up, I'll have a beer, 2 beers, 3 beers, 4 beers, 5 beers. And then they end up having more and more, because they're getting, sometimes their taste buds and want more and all of that. And now people, don't get me wrong, people have their beers, it's their prerogative to have a beer, have a drink and all of that. That's what makes people unique. But the amount of damage it does to people's liver is beyond a doubt probably the worst thing you could probably go to. And okay, it may take 10, maybe 20, 30, 40 years down the line. You haven't sip and drink a beer every day, 1 beer, 2 beers a day and all that. Every day for 40 years. What's that? Cirrhosis? Oh, that's it. Liver poisoning, which is a form of cancer in your liver. And then you end up needing a liver transplant. And then you don't get one because not many people are actually giving out their livers on donations and not donating their liver. So you end up on the receiving end. And then you actually can't see your grandchildren. You can't see your kids either, because you're on the verge of dying. You're on the verge of actually losing your life towards this disease, this horrible disease, which you actually promoted it yourself by drinking alcohol and all that. Now, I've seen people when they're drinking, having a few drinks, have a few beers now and then. That's alright. 1, 2 beers probably a week, 3 beers a week. Nothing at all. But when you start drinking beers after beers after beers, and you go on to sort of a binge drinking type rounds with your friends, and then you start getting drunk, so your liver kind of packs in, then you got yourself to blame. Technically, it's your fault. Now, we know that, let's have a look. Alcohol deaths. UK, 2000. Let's have a look. Alcohol related deaths. Oh, this was in 2013. Deaths caused by diseases known to be related to alcohol consumption, such as cirrhosis of the liver. Well, obviously it goes straight to the liver. It drowns up the liver, so that way basically the liver can't repair itself. And okay, yeah, the liver does repair itself, but it can only take so much damage, and you're causing that damage by guzzling all these beers or wines or sherries or whatever your spirits are, wines. I mean, they say, oh, wine's supposed to be good for you, but if you have too much, it's not that good for you. Now, let's have a look. In 2013, there were 8,416 alcohol-related deaths registered in the UK, an age standardised rate of 14.0 deaths per 100,000 population. I mean, okay, it doesn't seem that many deaths, but it's still a lot of deaths. So 8,416 deaths related to alcohol is quite a big number. I mean, what's that? Was it 14% deaths per 100,000 population? A small increase of 49 deaths compared to 2012. So, that was an increase. So basically, compared to the 2012, did not change the overall rate. Looking at longer term trends, the age standardized death rate from alcohol related causes was the lowest since 2000. 66% of alcohol-related deaths in the UK in 2013 were among males, so 66% for both sexes. The UK's death rates were highest among those aged 60 to 65 years, 45.3 deaths per 100,000 male and 22.4 per 100,000 females. While the Scotland had the highest alcohol, well, obviously Scotland has the highest because they drink a heck of a lot in Scotland. At the highest alcohol-related deaths at rate in 2013, it was the only continent country of the UK with significantly lower rates than 10 years ago. Within England, males in London had significant lower rate in 2013 compared with 2004 rates in other regions for both genders remained relatively stable. Summary, let's have a look. The bulletin presents alcohol-related deaths figures for the UK. It's a constituent countries and regions of England for 2013. The results are presented for the last 10 years. 2004 and 13. For ease of presentation, the accompanying reference table contained data from 1994 onwards. Deaths are mostly those caused by diseases known to be related to alcohol consumption, such as cirrhosis of the liver, accidental or violent deaths were alcohol abuse. Yeah, so people end up, and thing is, you're paying more money, right? You're trying to pay more money into the National Health Service, and where is this getting you? People who say are like in the National Health Service are taking these pretty much alcoholics or binge drinkers or drinkers themselves who've had a night out with their friends on a Saturday, Sunday night, and they're taking these people to the hospital after they've had a fight because they're like too much, they can't see themselves and they're so pissed they don't know whereabouts they are, and then they get to the point where they go to the hospitals and then the doctors or the actual surgeons have to repair them again and start stitching them up and making sure their blood's all not like congested all over the fucking floor and all their sick and vomit they got to clean up. Now, thing is, right, the National Health Service wouldn't have been at fault in the first place, wouldn't have lost all this money in the first place if it wasn't to do with alcohol. And also the government actually not taking this into account. Thing is, right, people in other countries, right, like Iran, Turkey and all that, and other places where there's no alcohol at all, with these Middle Eastern countries, they've got a good reason to stop people from drinking. I know it's a part of their religion, but if you take a look into the books, why should we have alcohol, right? I mean, you don't see these other countries like Iran, Iraq have alcohol, but yet they've still got hundreds of billions of pounds saved. Like Iraq and Iran, they're quite high up on the actual money, so they're technically still getting a lot of the economy into their like sort of country, so they're still getting money. But the thing is, with UK, right, people say, oh well, a lot of the money is to do, right, well, a lot of the alcohol that's been sold in the UK or imported from other countries into the UK are to be with the money that they're making. They're making all the money off the booze, and they say, oh well, we can't live on all this money if we couldn't have booze and all. You could actually. What about steelworks? Apparently we're supposed to be getting out of the EU soon, but it's not likely anyway. But seemingly we're going to go on our own as like UK people, which is a good thing, to be on our own rather than being with the EU, right, European Union, because they know shit. They all try and bring everybody in, drag people into wars and all that, when our country should be standing on our own and we should be looking after our own people. Now, to look after our own people is to make sure we don't have any deaths each year, right, due to alcohol abuse. People abuse alcohol like it's a sort of like a Sunday roast or something. I mean, it's not a Sunday roast, right? Oh, you can stuff your face in a Sunday roast. That's fine, that's fine. But that don't do any damage. The damage comes from alcohol. And alcohol is the actual worst thing. There's been more deaths, right? It doesn't say about 2015 or 16. But I bet you, right, last year in 2015, it increased even more. Probably to around about 10, 15,000 people probably died last year because of alcohol abuse. Now, my campaign that I'm doing, right, this is me petitioning. Down here should be a link, right? I've come up with my own sort of thing to petition on the change.org to actually make the government listen. Either, right, ban alcohol, right, which I know you guys and girls wouldn't want anyway, or lower the percentage in alcohol to probably 0%, so there's no alcohol in it, but it still tastes like alcohol and all that, so that people, when they have a drink, they don't get hammered. I know you guys and girls all want to get hammered and all that shit, but what's the point? Why are you going to get hammered when you don't even know what's going to go on? For all you know, right, you're going out with your friends and then you get hammered and then suddenly you get kidnapped because basically all your friends get kidnapped, right? Because all the alcohol you've abused, right, you don't even know what's going on because you're so pissed at your head everywhere. Anyway, that is just like a sort of an example. Like, oh my god, I'm so pissed. Oh my god, I'm drunk. And then suddenly, or you go out with your friends and then you start arguments, start fights and that. And what are you starting fights for? And arguments and all that. Oh, don't touch my girlfriend. Oh, my god, there's this, apparently my brother, right, my half-brother, he went to a pub last week and apparently, what was it, in Ella's bar, apparently, he said there was a big fight. Okay, so you go to your pub or club with your friends and then you're beating up your friends or you're having arguments with them or your friends and you are teaming up and you're taking on the whole entire pub. I mean, what's that solving? It just solves that you're an idiot who's been drinking so much and you need to cut down your alcohol. I mean, I don't get people like, okay, there's some people out there who don't mind the occasional drink. There's occasional drinkers and all that. I don't mind that. But it's people like dickheads who get drunk to the point where they're impaired, pretty much. They're not even there. Anyway, guys and girls, I've got a petition down here, which I'm going to put in the link below. If you want to try and either ban alcohol or try and get it reduced on the alcohol at the bottom, please go to the link and actually sign a petition to get this done. It does help, and then I can send it off to Theresa May. Anyway, guys and girls, cheers all for watching, and stay safe all.